Hey, you're listening to the official podcast, episode 313. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jackson. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Andrew, Charlie, Kaya, and we're joined today by a special guest, John Graham, creator of the hit Machinima series, probably around 7, 8 years ago, Arby and the Chief. Is that about right? Is my time frame correct?
It actually started in 2008, and the videos that spawned it was in 2007. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit more than what I just said. That's about, 12, 14 years? My math is bad
15,
too.
yeah, I think. Yeah, 14,
Yeah.
15.
That's insane. It feels like yesterday to me. Oh my god. I don't like that.
Yeah, time flies.
So, how you doing, man? Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience a little bit? Tell them what you're about?
I'm good, man. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. My name is John Graham. That's my channel on YouTube. That's the name of my channel. John Graham on Twitter, JCJ Graham. I did a show. Well, my first, I created my YouTube channel in around 2007. And the first thing that I uploaded was a video called Master Chief Sucks at Halo, where there's a little 9-inch Master Chief action figure that plays the Halo 3 beta and talks with the Microsoft SAM voice, which is the archaic text-to-speech engine from Windows XP. And in a very, very explicit language, very crude humor, it was meant to satirize how volatile the console online gaming community was at the time, especially in Halo. And then Call of Duty overtook it in that regard later on. That was my first video, and I didn't think much of it. I thought, this is dumb, but I'll upload it and see what happens. And ended up getting a lot of views.
Did you find success right off the bat?
In terms of views, yeah, it got millions of hits. And I mean, as a kid in his bedroom, basically. I mean, I was 19, 20 or something. I just finished high school. And that blew me away. I was not expecting that kind of reception at all. But I was very happy. And I made a sequel to that video, Master Chief Sucks at Halo 2. And then that's when I got contacted by Machinima, because the sequel did just as good, yeah. Uh-oh. And that's the whole thing, right? I know you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were a very small company at the time, looking for content creators, and they said, hey, we will pay you to keep making videos like that if the videos just get uploaded to our channel instead of yours. And I was like, hell yeah, man. I have had a lot of fun making those videos, and now, I wasn't getting paid to do them at first. So now they were offering me it wasn't a salary at first, but it was a very good offer, based on a certain sum per amount of views. And it seemed like a good deal.
What was the trick? Sure, was it a genuinely good deal in hindsight, or was there some kind of trick to it, some kind of thing that they didn't tell you up front?
Oh no, I think it was very good. I think they didn't realize how good it was because they weren't expecting. Yeah, they weren't expecting my videos to perform as well as they did on their channel, and they ended up revoking the contract and giving me a new one that gave me less money, basically, because luckily for them, they had... Yeah,
That's Machinima in a nutshell, though. They used to do that all the time. They'd go back and change their bespoke contracts around to make it much shittier for people.
Right, because they covered their asses, and they were smart enough to include a clause in their contracts that said either party could terminate the agreement at any time. And
what the fuck's the point of a contract then?
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, right? So, I don't know. I mean, the contract that I went on after I was still earning a decent salary, but had I maintained the original contract, I would have been getting buttloads more money. But I wasn't really that focused on that, to be honest. I was just so stoked at the time to get paid doing something I really enjoyed, so I didn't think much of it. I was very young and naive,
How many episodes total did you bring out, and what kind of cadence? Like, how frequently did you upload?
I made the first Master Chief Sucks at Halo 1 and 2 on my original channel. I think we're a few weeks apart. Like, I mean, it wasn't a sophisticated production by any means, but I got them out. And then once I started working for Machinima, they wanted videos on a weekly basis. And I found it was very easy for me to burn out. And I would keep asking for like a bit more development time, and I would get the time, and then I would get like burned out again. And it was embarrassing. I was just like, oh my God, like, maybe I'm not working hard enough, or I don't know, this schedule isn't right for me. But they wanted content coming every week, and I didn't want to cut my videos down to like these little abruptly ending like 5-minute segments. I wanted to write like structured stories per video, and it was tough sometimes.
Yeah, so Machinima directly limited the quality of the series?
I guess maybe. I don't want to blame them entirely. I mean, maybe there's some poor time management on my part as well.
You can fully blame them.
Honestly, as a Machinima alumni, as well as Charlie,
I wasn't a Machinima alumni. They denied me. I never got into Machinima.
Really? So as a Machinima alumni and a Machinima reject, please, for the love of God, shit on them as much as you can. They were by far the worst fucking thing on the world in YouTube.
No, I am not happy with Machinima overall, that's for sure. I mean, particularly towards the end, it just all went to shit in spectacular fashion. But I am always mindful to give them, because I know, like, everybody's shitting on them, and it's well-deserved, but I always give them credit for giving me a livable income and leaving me alone for the most part in regard to, like, creative control. Like, the show had a lot of explicit language, got spicy, but they let me do what I wanted to do, basically. They let me make the show the way I wanted to. And I'm grateful to them in that capacity for letting me build my first web series and start my journey, I guess, on screenwriting and structuring stories and learning how to edit video competently. And
do you think they did that out of the good of their heart, or do you think they just realized that you were like successful enough on your own, they didn't need to touch it?
I think that was the case, yeah. Because early on I was pulling in so many views, they were just like, they looked at me and they saw dollar signs, I think, and then they just thought it best to like, we'll just let him do his thing. And the language and stuff, that just wasn't a big deal back then. But later on, eventually Machinima, years later, as they got bigger and they became affiliated with bigger companies, there was an effort on their part to clean up their act. And then that was an awkward phase. Like, all of a sudden I got a list of like naughty words that I can't say anymore. And
how'd that work out for them?
Well, I ended up bleeping out a lot of the language. Like, I would keep it in the script, but then I would bleep it out in post. But I would put so many swear words that the amount of bleeping would be comical as kind of a fuck you. Because I was mad, because I was saying, like, the audience is going to get pissed off because they're accustomed to a certain amount of being uncensored and all this naughty language, but it's funny and people know where I'm coming from. They understand the intent. It's properly contextualized, but they didn't care. And that made me mad. So
was it impossible for you to make money on your own through like your own channel at that point? Like, was YouTube ad rev not?
No. There was no monetization back then. There was no partner program. There was no streaming. YouTube was very different back then. I mean, not just in terms of the interface, but like, I mean, it's called YouTube. People would think like it's always been streamer focused, but it wasn't back then at all. YouTube back then was people uploading videos of their pets with copyright violations because they used a fucking Beatles song in the background or something, you know?
Well, that's still a thing.
Yeah.
How much of the credits would they let you take, by the way? Like, were you allowed to also post the videos on your own channel, or Did they
No.
completely just slap their own branding on it and put you somewhere in the show description? Or in the
Yeah,
video
they
description.
they said all my uploads would go to their channel now. So the entire time I was working with Machinima, I was neglecting my own channel. I had all these subs from the first videos that I made, but I wasn't uploading anything to it anymore. And I regret that. I mean, it's kind of the contract I signed. I mean, I had to. But yeah, the channel was neglected, and then they put their big, ugly ass fucking logo in the corner that was way too big, like their watermark.
Yeah.
It's like baked into the old episodes. And
Added that classic like whooshing intro animation too.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's iconic. That made
Yeah.
videos better. Seeing that swirl in with
knew.
the sound effect.
You knew you were in for a fucking treat when you saw that, let me tell you.
I'm still upset that they removed the entirety of their catalog once their company collapsed, so you can't find the majority of the old content they used to have because it all got
It just
scrubbed.
seems so spiteful. I don't know why they needed to do that.
Wait, really? They nuked their channel?
Yeah, so if you look at Machinima now, it has literally no content anymore. It's all gone because the whole thing collapsed. But instead of just like going out like with class where like the channel stays up, they took every single piece of content they ever posted off of it.
It's not like they lose any money by keeping it up.
I know they don't. There was no reason to do that.
It was
wonder if
really remarkable. I had never seen anything like that, or like a company just completely disappearing like that and erasing their entire catalog. And it's such a shame. Like, I know some really talented people who worked there who got really screwed over because they lost all the stuff that they recorded. Like,
What was the breaking point? What actually... Because I don't remember. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but why did it go under again?
There was a lot of reasons. I think one of the biggest problems was they just couldn't really make enough money to keep it afloat, and they lost the confidence of most of their creators because they had the worst contracts of all time. They're extremely predatory. They were ruthless, and most people then saw that this was a bad deal, and now they had other options. They had like Maker Studios and all kinds of other MCNs that were offering better deals, even though Maker itself was also pretty trash. But there were alternatives now. Machinima didn't have the stranglehold on the industry it used to, so they all went elsewhere, signed elsewhere, and they lost most of their content creators. They lost more money, and they eventually just folded.
Machinima was such a bad reputation at a certain point that people were making like animations and call out videos just calling Machinima shit, and they'd get millions of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like hugely viral videos, and all the content of it was Machinima sucks, don't sign with them, they're trash.
So in like the public zeitgeist, they became like synonymous with just shit. So their perception was that they were just a bad company because people just kept saying they were a bad company. I guess they were a bad company though.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. This actually happened much more recently than I remembered. It was in 2019 that they've privated every single one of their videos, and they're saying they're saying it was largely due to AT&T acquisition of Otter Media, RoosterTeeth, Fullscreen, and more.
yeah.
So it wasn't even that long ago. I thought it was much longer ago, like much further back.
In my view, it was a slow accumulation of missteps towards the Fullscreen purchase. I think Warner Brothers owns Fullscreen, and Fullscreen purchased Machinima, if I'm understanding that right. Maybe I got it wrong.
Wait, so Fullscreen also owns RoosterTeeth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if they still do. Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still do, yeah.
But yeah, I think even in the beginning, in the small ownership that had the Machinima company, like when I first started working there, I don't think they even really understood what they had purchased, like the meaning of the term Machinima. And it's become such a weird term now. It has 3 different meanings at this point. It's like the name of the company, and then the colloquial definition, which is like fan-generated content using video games at like a consumer level, and the literal definition of like it being a contraction of machine cinema. So technically anything that's any kind of cinematic content that's rendered in a real-time engine. would constitute machine cinema. But I don't think they really understood that. And they kept making, like, the management, they would keep branching out and try to, like, making deals with these bigger companies and, like, going into, like, animation and live action production and news and stuff. I mean, which I think it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they really lost focus of, like, what, like, the machine cinema in particular. That just went to the wayside. And it's like, why is it even called this anymore? You know what I mean? Like, it was silly.
Towards the end, they also went through a giant rebranding that people weren't even aware of. They, like, changed all of their logos and color schemes and tried to come off as, like, a professional style company.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys even know that?
They literally inverted the palette. It was black and red before, it went white and green.
Yep.
They changed everything. Yeah.
They tried to completely rebrand into something different, and no one even noticed because they were so dead by that point.
This looks like shit.
It wasn't a smart decision. Yeah.
I'll never forgive them for not taking me in. I spent so much time trying to get good machinima suggestions or submissions.
You're so petty. When did you give up on your dream?
Like almost instantly. So they used to have this system. They had a website. It was machinima.com, and it was for user-generated content. And if the content was good enough, they'd put you on the main channel and give you like a contract, I guess. So I used to submit things to that all the time. I remember I worked for like weeks on like really good mongoose clips to make like a cool mongoose sniping montage, and I finally finished it. I submitted it to Machinima. I was so fucking proud of it, and I don't think it ever got viewed by a single human being that wasn't me.
Aw. Hey, respect, man. I started making out Machinima on Halo 2. It didn't even have a theater mode. You could still see the reticule in the middle of the screen, like as the camera. And it was like the dumbest stuff, just like the soldier guy has to make it from the beach to the base on Zanzibar, her last resort, or whatever it was called. And that was the story, basically.
That's awesome.
So I started in the same way. Yeah.
So the Machinima channel is still up. You can still check out this like fucking time capsule if any of you out there are interested. It started in 2006, but all the videos are gone. They have one video featured on the homepage, and it's from a different like spin-off channel. Playlists are still there, but like who knows, scrub. But what's fun is if you go to the About tab, their description has not changed at all. And one of the lines in it is, this channel features current popular content such as BFFs, Super Best Friends Play, Christopher Walking Through, along with classics like Gamer Poop, Arby and the Chief, etc., etc. So they still list you on there in their little description as one of their like featured contents.
Actually, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
History. It's like the last remaining thing of Machinima.
So, reading about it, it looks like they didn't delete the videos; they privated them. I wonder if we could buy this channel back from AT&T and like relist all of the videos all at once.
You'd be a savior if you did that.
Privating them makes sense because you have to keep in mind the people who buy out these companies are a bunch of suits who now think, okay, we now own all of this content, and maybe one day they might just put it on their own streaming platform because every fucking company has to have a streaming platform now.
It makes sense from every business angle. It makes sense from every business angle to private it, because not only does it give them exclusivity, it protects them from anything. Like, let's say a video down the line gets in legal trouble or something happens with a creator, they can disavow any tie to it. Be like, what do you mean? We don't have any videos by them on our channel. No way.
Who? So Warner Brothers owns Machinima.
AT&T.
Doesn't AT&T own Warner Brothers?
Oh, that I don't know. But Warner Brothers was credited for owning full screen, but AT&T is credited for owning everything else.
Okay, yeah. So I think Warner Brothers is like connected in that family of things. So they own what, like HBO Max?
Yep.
So could like all of these shows on Machinima end up on a streaming service? Like, could Arby and the Chief show up on HBO Max?
I
fucking hope not. It's all on my channel now.
I do wonder. Like, it's all there. They're not doing anything with it. Could we just make like a fucking awful offer? Like, I'll give you $1,000 for the channel. Do you think they'd do it?
No. Not for anything less than like $1 million, I assume.
No, there's no way they'd hold out for $1 million. It literally has nothing. Like, it's zero. There's zero there. They're holding nothing, and it's a name that has the worst like ill will on the internet.
Yeah, but they own all the assets like surrounding that. Like, I'm sure that they technically do own those like episodes of Christopher Walken through Super Best Friends playing like probably Arby and the Chief, right? Surely they own the rights to the episodes that they produce. Well, they you were partnered during like when they were produced, right?
I really don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, to me, it looks like it doesn't even exist as a corporate entity. Like, even though the YouTube channel is still there.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and I have a story that relates to that. But I have a more important story about my underwear.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, because it's MeUndies. I don't have to tell you anything about MeUndies. You already know that they're super comfortable. You already know that they come in men's and women's sizes, and they come in a range from extra small to 4XL. No matter what your body shape and size, you will find a comfortable pair of underwear with MeUndies. And now it's time to spend less time gifting and more time living when you live in your MeUndies holiday collection. They've got undies, bralettes, PJ sets, all sorts of other fun things. I'm not sure when they roll these collections out, but they also have dog accessories, which are very, very cute. Aww. Yeah. You can shop classic plaids for dads, holiday fun print sweaters, and more goofy stuff with MeUndies. All 4 official boys wear MeUndies. I want every excuse on this planet to tell you about my underwear. And I will tell you that you can get 20% off of your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee by going to MeUndies.com/official. That's MeUndies.com/official. Is everything being held in down there? Is everything locked in place? You no longer need duct tape straps to tie in there, big boy, because you got MeUndies? Good. Well, it's time for a night on the town. Why don't you go to the bar? Why don't you go to the college bar? Because all you out there are young, and I'm so fucking jealous, you fucking pieces of shit. While you're there, have a good time. Drink responsibly. But next day, you might go, oh God, my tummy. Oh no. Ooh, I've had a wee bit too much. I don't feel too good. Well, you probably should have drank a bottle of ZBiotics before you went out drinking, because the next day you should be feeling refreshed and ready to make the most of it. ZBiotics is a nice little formula that makes enzymes, and it'll break down the byproducts of alcohol and make you feel pretty good the next day. A lot better than if you didn't drink ZBiotics. It's a probiotic drink that is a responsible little worker that gets in there and helps combat those rough mornings after a night of going hard in the paint, as the kids would say. They also offer lots of things to make sure that you feel good about putting this thing in your stomach. It's been rigorously tested and is FDA compliant for safety. It's vegan. No sugar, no gluten, no calories, 100% money back guarantee if you don't happen to like it. And it's just a fun little thing that you can have around in case you want to party as hard as possible. And the party that we're throwing you is this. Let's see, my sheet is lagging here. Oh, I had it open and now I can't find it. There
Andrew,
it is.
Andrew, you can get 15% off your first order of ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic by clicking the link in the description box and using our code official at checkout. Just go to ZBiotics.com/official
Yes.
and get 15% off on your first order. Is that what you were going to say?
That is exactly what I was going to say. If for some reason where I had my notes written down didn't decide to crash and I had to reopen it, that was so fucked up. I don't know why that would happen.
So cute, completing each other's sentences.
I know. But Jackson's completely right. You don't have to just listen to me. You can listen to Jackson. We all used to party hard in college. We know what it's like to have an irpy morning the next day. Don't do that. ZBiotics 15% off with code official. Go to ZBiotics.com/official. Get 15% off of your first order. So your junk's all taken care of and strapped in for safety. Your stomach is all satiated and made to feel good. But do you look good? You're gonna go out for a night on the town and you're not gonna look stylish? Are you stupid? Insane? Made of bricks instead of flesh? Well, that's probably because you are if you're not wearing a movement accessory such as watches and other little smart doodads. Movement was going to tell everyone, tell the world even, that watches were just the beginning, because they now also have lines of eyewear and jewelry that's designed to set you apart for all the right reasons. We also, as a species, spend far too much time looking at computer screens, at phone screens, at Tic Tacs, whatever you fucking call them. Well, their ever scroll eyewear filter is going to get the most intense blue light rays out of your eyes so you can look good while at work, at your little desk job, or maybe while browsing your phone when you're trying to go to sleep in your bed, which you shouldn't do because that's bad for you, because it keeps you up. So wear those glasses when you're going to bed. You'll look great while sleeping, and you'll be able to sleep. Movement has been doing things differently since day one in their business model. They have top-tier materials, unbeatable prices, and they cut out the middleman. So that way, when you're looking at these nice little watches and doodads, you're going to be getting them at a really competitive price. Be the good gifter with Movement. During their seasonal sale, get a special discount just in time for the holidays. Join the movement today at MVMT.com. That's MVMT.com. Machinima. I have a great Machinima story related to it just vanishing overnight and how shitty it was. So when YouTube was first rolling out the partner programs and how the money works and this and that, I was part of Machinima. And it wasn't as terrible as you, John, where I had to like upload all my stuff for them. And, you know, I got fucked, but not that fucked. But it was basically, we'll partner your channel, we'll give you this revenue split, yada, 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 yada. So down the line, I leave Machinima because it fucking sucks and no one wants to be there. And I joined another network. Charlie, I think you were in there. Do you remember Union for Gamers?
Oh, yeah.
That was another one that flopped out the ass. So I switched over to them because they had a better deal and they were like more human beings and more actually didn't fuck you over and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, over a period of time, I want to leave networks. I just want to do my channel. I don't want to be a part of them. I'm like, I don't really need one, fuck it. And I noticed that all of my ad revenue on my channel was being paid to random channels. Just people I had never heard of. I would go to check the settings and it would be like, confirm that this is your YouTube link. And it would be like youtube.com/user/somebody. Someone I had never heard of. And then when I went to change it, it would be a new random channel. And this went on for months and months and months. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Where is my money going? What is happening? Do I have to be part of a network as like a workaround to get paid? And eventually I found out, I don't know how this happened, but I messaged one of the channels because it was still active that popped up in that thing. And I was like, hey, are you getting the same fucking thing too? What's going on? And we figured out that we were both part of Machinima before it went defunct. And it turns out there was some like toggle or auto setting or something they just left on that was defaulting my revenue to one of their partnered accounts.
So cute.
And I spent a long time going like, Machinima, hi, contact me. It's like, if an emergency, who can I talk to? Anyone. Here's an email. Here's a fucking contact. Here's a form I filled out. Company's just defunct. There's no one to talk to at all.
Oh my God.
You're just shouting into the void.
Literally, yeah, just trying to get anyone to talk to me. I went on Twitters, I went on emails, I found like people who work there and personally emailed there. Nothing. And for months and months and months, eventually what allegedly solved it is YouTube themselves went in and like hard reset some settings. But it was just amazing.
Did you ask
For a little while there, you were
gone.
like the Robin Hood of YouTube. Your money was going to like all the smaller channels that got affected by the Machinima.
It was weird because YouTube pays on a monthly basis and I'd be like, okay, so payments take a couple months to process, so I'll just wait it out. And after like 2 months, I had $0 in my account that should be getting paid by YouTube. And I was like, okay, wait, something's
I'd like
happening.
to say that Robin Hood wasn't giving people his own money. But also,
that
so
too.
did you ask the guy for your money back? Like, that's mine, asshole.
So no, so he didn't get it, and obviously, yeah, I guess he could have lied, but he said some weird shit was going on with his channel too, and no one knew where their money was going. I even put out a. I
You
even
probably had the
put
same
out,
issue. It's probably getting like funneled around to somewhere else, like, just, like this giant slide.
It absolutely was probably going to like this defunct, like big copyright or not copyright, big like ownership channel owned by Machinima that just no longer existed. All the numbers and linking was probably going somewhere that just didn't exist. So then the system didn't know what to do and was pointing to random people. But I even put out outcries on it. I was like on Twitter and shit. I was like, hey, this is happening. Does anyone know what the fuck is going on if you were partnered with Machinima? And there were like 3 or 4 other people who were like, yeah, the same thing's happening to me and I have no idea what's going on. And I saw like other channel names I've never heard of. And it was just so fucked. And there was nothing you could do because Machinima was just gone. Just fucking disappeared.
How much do you think you lost? And how long did this happen for?
So thankfully, this was before my channel really blew up. So in like the long term, not that much. And when YouTube, to their credit, when they fixed it, they paid me back the money.
Oh.
They sent me a check afterwards. So I did get that money back. But for like a year, probably longer, I was missing 2 or 3 months of ad revenue, which, seeing as it was when I was trying to quit and go full time, that was really important. You know, that was basically my income. So it was an incredibly stressful time.
That's a unique kind of crap that I didn't have to deal with, thankfully.
Yeah.
I'm very apprehensive to MCNs of any kind. I feel very fortunate that my channel just belongs to me, no one else. Machinima never tried to like buy my channel or anything like that. Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, I just
that.
wanted to wanted to throw wood on your Machinima fire because they really fucked everything up by just disappearing like that instead of doing anything.
I mean, there were some talented people but the way it was run was just embarrassing.
Was there like personality drama behind the scenes or managerial harassment cases, or am I thinking of somewhere else?
I mean, there very well could have been, but I wasn't privy to a lot of it because I worked remotely. Like, I'm based in Canada. I'm in British Columbia, and they're in Los Angeles. But I did go down there a couple times very briefly to do some coverage of E3. And I think one time before E3 to just look at the offices. That was when I first was employed. And they wanted me to come down and just meet the team and look at the place. And it was like a little not even a half, like a little section of a floor of a rented office building. And it was like 2 offices, the boss's office and then like the team, like the creative team. It was just like 3 guys at computers. And that was it. That was the company. And
So Charlie was laughing there at that question I heard, but I have actually heard stories from people that did work there that there was like a massive dude bro culture at the offices, and like not a lot of work got done at the offices.
Well,
because
sounds
of that
like
kind
it
of
if they had like
culture.
4 employees, including the boss. That's like a college dorm.
I didn't
They were
witness
probably
that.
doing keggers.
Yeah, I didn't see that stuff, but that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I'm sure it was like that.
That's what I had heard. So I was curious if there were any stories about that. Yeah, so someone in our chat said, was the boss farting in people's faces too, like at Riot Games? That's kind of what I was thinking and hoping for.
I did not notice any farts.
Like
No.
Oh,
But that could have happened too, just as easily.
yeah, maybe they kept that in check, knowing that you were coming around for a visit.
Hold in your farts, everybody. John's coming.
They clean up all the beer bottles, wipe the floors real quick, shine a black light on the walls.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
I can tell
Charlie,
you.
did you have any questions?
I can give you a story of my own how it all went to shit if you want.
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
So, I mean, they were happy with me for a while because I was pulling in views, and they would leave me alone for the most part. But then around like when I was doing season 5 of the show, like I did a bit of a format change where the show became a bit more dramatic. Some people might say in a cringy way, but I didn't see it that way. I was just trying to go deeper with the characters and the premise and try to make it more interesting. Some people saw it as the show getting worse, but it really wasn't me trying to like be lazy or put less work into it. I was putting more work into it than I was before. But maybe it just wasn't jiving with like the initial large audience, and the viewership was dwindling, and they weren't happy with that. But to their credit, they were still letting me do what I wanted to do with it creatively, because I felt it was the right way to go. I should rewind a little bit, because after I did season 3, I got burned out, and I needed to take a break, and I didn't have any more ideas for new episodes. And I'm just like, I'm done with this show. Like, I gotta just back away from it, at least for a little while. But Machinima wanted to keep the train going, like immediately. Like, they didn't want to skip a beat or skip a week of like no RB uploads. It's like, we want RB and the Chief. So they decided to continue the series in-house without me.
No.
Yes.
Jesus, no.
So they had one of their producers start writing the scripts.
Oh, the old Hollywood syndrome.
Yeah, right. And they had someone in-house, like they got the action figures and they got like their own cam op and they shot it all in LA, and it was just totally different, not only in terms of writing, but just the way it was shot, and like the puppeteering was off, and the font was
wrong. Did they try to pass it off as your work, or did they at least make sure
I gave them the green light, and I shouldn't have. But I just really wanted a break from the show at that point. I was just like, fine, whatever. Just do what you want to do, I guess. And
was there a part of you that was curious as to like what they were going to do with it?
Sure. Yeah. I was a bit worried, but I was just like, what? They're a Hollywood company. Maybe they know what they're doing. And that was a mistake. And that became very quickly apparent in the first couple episodes. I'm just like, oh shit, this was a mistake. And people weren't liking it.
Did you get to see the script beforehand?
No, not initially. But then I don't think I even asked initially, to be honest. But then I saw the first couple episodes. I was like, this sucks. And the audience thought as much as well. And it was getting like dislike bombed, and they came to me and it's like, well, can you at least go over the scripts and approve them?
Can you fix the series that we took from you and broke?
Yeah. And so I would get the scripts they would write. And I mean, the producer that wrote the scripts, he was a nice dude, but he just didn't know. He didn't understand the show. I don't know if he had any screenwriting experience. I'm guessing not. But I got the script and I was just like, there were so many problems with it. It's just like, where do you even start? Like, I don't even know how to even begin giving feedback on this. And eventually I just was like, yeah, okay, whatever, just do that. And then more episodes came out and I'm like, oh my God, I got this sinking feeling in my stomach. Like I'm watching this show I worked hard on. They're just kind of ruining it, and it's kind of my fault as well because I said okay. And after they did their little in-house season, I said, okay, let me do it again. I feel re-energized at this point. I'll pick it up for season 4. I'll take the reins. I'll write all the scripts. I'll do everything again. I was actually quite happy to do it at that point. I just needed a break. That was all.
And then that was a trick.
Yeah.
They just played into your ego. We're going to ruin his baby, his love child, and force him to come back to fix it.
Yeah. I don't know what was going through, whether they thought it was good or not. I don't know. But I got the reins back for season 4, and season 4 was pretty well received, thankfully. And I was able to like win my audience back, saying, "Hey, it's me, guys. I'm doing it again. Hope you like it." And people did. And then when I did season 5, there was a format change where I started incorporating a bit more drama into the show and making it more serialized. Like I started having these season-wide arcs that would build up to a big finale. And because that approach to episodic storytelling really excited me creatively. And I'm like, if I'm going to keep doing the show, I want to do it this way. And so I did season 5, 6, and 7, but the viewership was dwindling because I think a lot of the base audience was missing just the classic self-contained joke-filled format. And I mean, fair enough. I mean, I polarized the audience, but I went the creative direction I wanted to go, so I'm at least happy with that. But then by the time season 7 came along, I think we kind of agreed that this was going to be the last one. And the views weren't doing too great. It was still getting a bit of an audience, but not nearly what it was getting in the beginning. Like, it wasn't millions. It was like hundreds of thousands, if that. Like tens of thousands probably is more accurate.
Sorry, what year was season 7 roughly?
Oh, that would have been in the 2010s, early 2010s.
Okay. So Halo was still popular at that time, right? That was like Halo Reach. So
yeah, it was still before 343 ran it into the ground.
Yeah, that was still definitely big game hours.
Yeah. So, but they let me do season 7 the way I wanted to make it. It was split into like 2 halves in terms of production. I took a break halfway through. And, but at the end of season 7, their way of letting me go was simply just not responding to my emails anymore and just cutting me off. There was no official notice of like being...
It's software method.
Yeah. And, you know, it was easy for them because I was remote, right? It's just like, oh, whatever. Eventually he'll stop contacting us.
Block him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shockingly unprofessional considering the amount of time I had spent with them. Like if
7 years, yeah.
If they had just emailed me and said we're done with you, it's like, okay, fine, I get it.
Wouldn't
like
they
I'm
also
not
have
pulling
to
in the
officially notify you that the contract was now terminated?
Yeah, they didn't do that. Yeah, they literally just dropped me. And
maybe you technically are still like contracted to them. You're now the owner of Machinima because you're the last one left.
That would be
last
hilarious.
person to officially leave the company now owns it entirely.
Yeah.
What if you're the only paper trail left? You should get a court order to open the case for investigation or discovery to see if maybe you're the only one whose contract still dodged the shredder at their offices before they ran off to the Bahamas with everyone's money, apparently.
Yeah, now that it's with AT&T, you might be able to get something out of that. You could start going after them legally.
Yeah. The whole, from a legal aspect, my show has been like a big gray blob to try and understand. Because like they're Microsoft trademarks, they're based on Halo games. True. I'm using the Halo engine. I'm using Microsoft technology in terms of the text-to-speech engine. But then does... You know, the show that started the series started on my channel. I wasn't a Machinima employee then, but then once I started the contract with them, they owned not Master Chief Sucks at Halo, not my channel, but the RB and the Chief series. And then it's like, who owns what exactly? Does Bungie or Microsoft see a portion of whatever it is Machinima's pulling in? It was all very confusing. And at the end, like I kept... Towards the end of my last season, they kept passing me around to different producers. Like I would have like a singular contact who I would send emails to, and then that person would contact whoever they needed to, whether it was for casting or like payment queries or whatever. But eventually, I would get passed around more and more frequently, and then they wouldn't get back to me, and then I was just left in the dark for literally months, and then I saw that the whole catalog went down. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, is all my stuff gone now? Because my show wasn't uploaded anywhere else. Like, I didn't even give a fuck about ad revenue. I was just like, nobody can see my show now that I spent like almost a decade on at that point.
Yeah. What the fuck?
That fucking ripped my heart out. No. I heard nothing around the catalog coming down, the website shutting down. Nobody was informing me of anything.
That's nuts. You could have lost it forever. Like, what if you didn't have backups or anything?
That's what happened to everyone.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I didn't have backups because I was a fucking idiot, and I didn't save up I didn't invest in hard drives to make a backup of everything. But it was my fans that saved me. I'm very lucky to have a dedicated audience that follows me, and they backed up all my stuff on their ends. And with their help, I was able to compile a whole archive and recover everything. And then I put it on my channel. And so the thing with that is, like, I wanted to do it right? So, like, I wasn't sure, like, does Machinima exist anymore? Do they still own the show? Can I just... the show is not available to watch on their channel. So does that mean I can upload it to my channel and just show people? Because I just wanted the show to be seen. If I couldn't monetize the show on my channel, that was fine. I really didn't care that much about that. But I wanted to contact Machinima directly and get their permission and ask them, like, can I just upload it to mine? But they weren't getting back to me. Like, I was emailing them for months. And so finally, I started talking to a lawyer who specialized in intellectual property law. And he specialized in, like, law surrounding video games in particular. And he gave me a bit of a consultation over email. And then I told Machinima that I was in contact with a lawyer. And then they finally responded. That got their attention, right? Because I was threatening legal action.
The classic Pornhub response.
And they were all, like, enthusiastic, like, let's do this. Let's get this sorted out. I was like, oh, you're enthusiastic now, you motherfuckers, right? And so I found out that the reason nobody was getting back to me was because at that point they had cycled through their entire staff and they were all new and nobody knew who I was, except for one guy who was there since the beginning, who I guess had been promoted all the way to the legal department, who knew who I was and agreed to take a call with me. And this was like months after the content got privatized and all that. And I was like, thank fuck, finally. And so I got on a call with a couple guys from the legal department. One of them knew who I was. And I guess that was the only reason that they agreed to call me, was luckily there was one guy left who was familiar with me.
Yeah, one holdout.
Yeah, exactly. And they were just like, yeah, upload it to your channel. And I was like, I got what I wanted, but I was pissed off because I was like, I've been trying to contact you for months just to get this answer. And you're telling me it's this simple now? Like, why didn't you tell me this months ago? Like, why not did you fuck not only me over, but like just everyone that worked for you? I mean, does anybody give a fuck about any of the content that was contributed to your channel? Like,
yeah, they could have at least made a public statement. Like, we relinquished the rights to all of the videos back to the original creators. Have fun.
They could have done absolutely anything, but they just up and fucking left.
It was
it.
Yes, it was as if there was a fucking fire in the building and everyone just ran out and never went back in again. You know. So once I established that it was okay that I could upload everything to my channel, and they did tell me, like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I was like, okay, can I get rid of the watermark? Can I, like, blur it out? Like, it was baked into the original videos, but I'm just like, can I just blur it out at least? And they were like, well, if you want, yeah, you can erase it if you want. I'm like, if you don't care, it's going. Okay, I'm not keeping that fucking ugly thing in the corner if I don't have to. And so I put it.
But it's a pretty nice logo.
Yeah,
you might want to keep it up there.
And knowing their state right now, you probably own that logo now.
Who knows how it works right now? I mean, I don't know who owns that channel, who can access. Somebody can log into that channel right now if it's still there. I don't know who it is.
You should re-edit your old episodes and put the new green logo over the top of it. Make sure it's up to date.
Yeah. So I re-uploaded my old stuff, and instead of the logo, it's just like an ugly radial Gaussian blur mask over top it. And
have they produced any content after the rebrand? Because I can't think of a single video that has like a new splash screen for Machinima.
So what happened?
Did.
Nope. What happened? I already had it up. What happened days after they got acquired? And this was I think it was 100 million or 86 million. I just closed it and I forgot, but they got acquired in the 2019, early 2019, I think, for 100-ish million. And days after, they privated everything and never went back. Literally,
fuck?
literally days after, they just went dark.
They got acquired and then just deleted.
Yeah.
Do you think someone bought them just to shut them down then?
That makes no sense.
Well, I don't see, and especially not to the tune of like 86 million from Warner Bros. Because it was Warner Media that made the purchase overall, it seems.
That's so weird. Why would they buy it just to shutter it? That's strange.
I assume there was some money-making tactic behind the decision-making. It certainly wasn't for the art of it, or for machinima, or anything like the art of machinima, if you want to call it that.
I could totally see them doing that. Warner Brothers wants to get in on the YouTube game, so they see what they believe is a competitor, and they buy it and shut it down. That happens all the time. There's tons of companies where they buy smaller competitors and then just close them. It's business strategy.
Wait, can you do that? Is that actually a thing? Buying places just to shut them? I thought there was like a law against that.
I'm not sure on the legality, but I mean, it's very similar to when you buy. Yeah, it's a buyout. Imagine
No, I know,
if you.
I know you can buy other companies, obviously, but I thought that was mostly to like actually continue operation of them or merge them. Like you can do layoffs and stuff, but I thought it was illegal to just downright shut them.
How much is the difference between buying them and merging them into your company and buying them and closing them?
Also,
they still
probably
cease to
about-
exist.
Just to set this straight, I got the timeline wrong. It was purchased for 85.4 billion to Warner Bros. But it went dark when it was reacquired by Fullscreen. Days after it was put back under Fullscreen is when they went dark.
Then there's definitely something legal in the background we don't know about,
Yeah,
because
had to.
why would they go back to full screen and then shut down? It would make more sense if they went to Warner Brothers, shut down, and then full screen got them and reopened them or something.
Well, could it be that like Fullscreen decided to just focus on RoosterTeeth entirely? Because they're kind of like
That's
overlapping audiences.
Yeah, what a
That'd be
good
so-
choice that was.
That'd be so poetic. Just bad decision after bad decision.
That's probably
I mean,
the case.
At the time, RoosterTeeth was stronger than Machinima, though.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I think that's a good hypothesis. I mean, like, because it's easy to identify what Rooster Teeth is, like their thing, the content they produce. It's just very easily identifiable. I think with Machinima, they didn't really know what they bought. Just like the original owners in the beginning. I don't think they really knew what they had. They didn't know what Machinima was. They didn't understand the name of their company, what it actually meant. And when it was bought by Fullscreen, same thing. Like, what even is this? We don't know. And they certainly weren't putting out much, if any, machine cinema content. It was all like animation and like other like news
and Let's Plays and shit.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And,
Just
and DSP never unboxing Final Fantasy over his fire alarm.
I mean, if you want to make a gaming channel, fine. But I mean, you're calling it Machinima, but it's just about gaming in a very general sense. Like you're calling it a very specific thing when it's not. I don't know. The whole thing was a shit show, man.
My money is on backdoor buyout and business move closed it. That's the only thing I can think would make sense. There's some money or some contract that happened, and they just thought it was better to close it than to try to do anything with it.
I think my hypothesis is correct.
Which
So
is
who's
what?
the... Sorry, go ahead, Jackson.
Oh, just because Fullscreen at the end owned both Machinima and Rooster Teeth, I think they made the business decision to shut down Machinima and just entirely focus on Rooster Teeth.
Why private all the videos
Yeah,
then?
it doesn't make
Wouldn't
any
they
sense.
just sit there and generate free ad revenue?
Well, yeah, that part I don't get.
All right then. Yeah.
Checkmate.
Well, that doesn't make sense in your hypothesis either.
Yeah,
Like,
it
there's no
does.
situation where shutting, like, just removing all the videos makes any sense.
Well, yeah, it does. Warner Brothers buys Machinima, goes, hey, this is competition for us because we make movies and TV shows and we don't want this internet thing doing its thing. So here's the deal. Full screen, you're going to get the rights back to it, but you have to shut it down. So that way, legally, you still own it, but you can't operate it anymore. And here's like a buyout, so that lets you do it.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think the only reasonable case where this makes sense, other than someone fucked up or some like happened that we don't know about, is they got bought out, and one of the terms was they have to just get rid of all their stuff so they're no longer competition.
Well, okay, but what if like that works in my situation or my hypothesis too? Like so Full Screen now owns Machinima and Rooster Teeth, and they're like, oh shit, these Machinima videos might draw attention away from Rooster Teeth and Bernie Burns' antics with his Tesla. Let's shut down all the Machinima videos, divert attention to Bernie Burns and his Rooster Teeth squad, and ramp up their views. What about that?
But I think the action of getting rid of literally thousands of hours of content is going to draw more attention on anything than just letting it sit and not uploading anymore.
Yeah.
You'd think they would be more aware of the audience reaction because they had a lot of subscribers. They didn't think that the audience would be like, what the fuck? Where did everything go?
I mean, the fucking Machinima channel has like 12 million subscribers today, and it still has no videos and has not had any new videos for 2 years. So, yeah.
Probably forgot the password.
The guy who had the password has just been unreachable.
God, whoever gets access to that channel has a literal gold mine. If I got into that, I would auction off individual videos for money. Be like, oh, you remember Army and the Chief episode 1? I'll take $50.
That's evil.
Yeah, but
He's
profitable.
like a jewel thief.
Yeah. I think you guys are right. I mean, essentially, like somebody profited enormously or some organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just
How do you profit off deleting all the videos though? I don't get that.
If they're competition.
Yeah.
Competition for what? These videos aren't competition for like HBO's premiere TV shows.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
They are. There's been studies on how it's all time viewership wars now. Fortnite's biggest competitor is Netflix because they take your time.
Well,
You
Netflix is
haven't
such
seen
an
those studies?
encompassing. Netflix is definitely like in the same like kind of target audience though.
And
like,
YouTube is in the
teens.
same target audience as HBO. It's all watching stuff. The whole newest generation doesn't even watch TV or movies anymore. They watch nothing but YouTube. It's all competition.
Okay, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe you are right.
That's the only conclusion I'm coming to here.
That's such an expensive purchase though, just to like remove everything and then like try to divert their attention to their HBO series when they don't have any guarantee that that's where people are going to go spend their time, because there's a million other YouTube platforms that they would divert their attention to watch stuff. I imagine that is a pretty big gamble.
Well, they got the money to do it.
So who's the Machinima of today? Is there a modern day version of it?
I mean,
complete shitty company.
People like me still contribute to the art form, if you want to call it an art form, but I don't think there's any one channel that...
As in a company that's fucking over creators right now. Like
YouTubers. Yeah, no, there's
YouTube.
I don't think there's anything like it anymore. No.
YouTube. Yeah. It's just YouTube.
Well, no, there is a real answer to it. It's not like fucking over creators in particular, I suppose. It's more fucking over its in-house creators. It's RoosterTeeth. Like, Rooster Teeth has completely it's been unbelievable the amount of controversy they've found themselves in. It's been a ridiculous decline.
Way more than Machinima, actually.
Yeah. It's been a crazy decline for Rooster Teeth as a whole. Like, Rooster Teeth is the answer to that question. They kind of are like the Machinima of today, I guess.
Yeah, I was inspired by those guys. I like their stuff, and I worked with them very briefly, and I really enjoyed my time there. So it's a real shame to read the things that are coming out about that company, about like the work, the crunch, and people being mistreated or whatever.
Damn. Yeah. To be fair, 2008 Rooster Teeth is a far cry from what Rooster Teeth is now. Post full screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Post corporate buyout Rooster Teeth is just a shell of its former self.
If you want to hear on the really drawn out decline here, Rooster Teeth has not had a positive month for subscriptions in the last over 2 years, except so in June 2021, they gained 10,000 subscribers roughly, but every other month since January 2020, they have lost tens of thousands of subscribers.
Oh dear.
They are plummeting to the ground.
You can see the downfall just by either watching their content or looking at their view counts and stuff. It's just plummeting.
Yep.
It's bad.
Yep.
And it's no surprise really. Like they haven't adjusted to the times, and I don't think there is a format in which like a place like Rooster Teeth works anymore, since everyone is so able to make it on their own. I guess you don't really need these giant conglomerates.
No. Yeah, you're right. There's no need for the middleman anymore. It's a great era for content creators now.
Yeah, and a lot of their big talent has already successfully jumped ship. Ray's already a successful solo streamer. Gavin has the Slow Mo Guys, which is a huge channel now. A lot of their biggest talent is just doing their own thing, and it's working very well. So why even watch Rooster Teeth?
You said you did work for them. I would have thought that they would have made an offer on RB and the Chief originally, because like when I thought of Rooster Teeth, obviously red versus blue, and they were big in like the machinima kind of art form back in the day, so it would have made it for a logical relationship.
Yeah,
in my mind.
Well, to be clear, I didn't. They didn't employ me. I went over as a peer, like to Texas for like a few days to shoot a couple sketches with them, because people are aware of my stuff, people are aware of their stuff, and a mutual contact of ours who was in Vancouver had suggested that we work together on something, and then I talked to Bernie, and then we agreed like I would fly over and we'd just write some stuff and shoot a couple things, and it was a lot of fun. And but I didn't do any contract work with them or editing work or anything like that. It was just I just helped them write and shoot some sketches. And then after that, God, I'm drawing a blank. There was another part to your question. I forget it now. I'm sorry. What was it?
I was just gonna say, was there any kind of like idea that they wanted you to like join them, perhaps?
Oh yeah. Right, that's one thing, but I remember now it was about like a possible ownership of like my content by them. No, I don't. They never expressed interest in owning my show, but there was a period of time where I thought they might have my content. Like this was while everything on the Machinima channel was privatized, and then I heard that Rooster Teeth had taken the Machinima library. And it was there was some buzz about like, oh, is Rooster Teeth going to make all the Machinima content available on their channel if they have the whole library? But I don't even know if that was true. Just all this like Battlefield Friends and Sonic for Hire and all that shit, like, and my show, like they might have had some or all of that. And there was some question as to like, are they going to make RB and the Chief available on Rooster Teeth? But I wanted to make it available on my channel. So I emailed them. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, do you guys have the Machinima library? Because I'm trying to message Machinima and they're not getting back to me and I don't know what the hell's going on. And they emailed me back saying, we'll look into it. And then I didn't hear back again. but
seems to be a common thread.
But eventually it didn't matter, because after that, at some point, that was when I finally got a phone call with Machinima and then got all the stuff on my channel anyway. So I wouldn't have wanted Rooster Teeth to own my stuff anyway. I'd rather it was on my own channel.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now. So what you just said, though, kind of makes sense. Like, if Rooster Teeth now has full access to the Machinima library, that makes sense why they'd private it on the Machinima side of things on that channel. If their plan was at the time to like upload everything onto one singular hub on Rooster Teeth.
Could be.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in an enigma. Yeah. Nobody will ever know the complete truth.
I want to know. Damn it. Like, none of them probably know as well. Like, no one knows, genuinely.
Yeah. Who knows?
All right. Andrew, Charlie, Kai, did you have any more questions or anything?
How you doing?
Nothing on my end.
I'm going good.
Good.
Okay, nice. We can wrap there if you guys are good with that.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. John, thank you for joining us. Did you want to shout out your content and where people can find you to continue the RB and the Chief journey?
Sure. So I'm still making the show, RB and the Chief. I mean, I just finished my 8th season of it, but I'm still going to make like one-off little videos if I get an idea. If you want a good entry point, if you're not familiar with my stuff and you want a good entry point, I would say look up Master Chief Sucks at Halo Infinite, which I made relatively recently.
Wait, I do have a question.
Sure.
I just thought of. Did you put the Machinima produced season on your channel as well, or are you just ignoring it?
Yeah, it's all on my channel.
Oh, okay, that's very
Which
generous
season
of
is
you.
that for future reference?
Season
I wanna
one
watch that too.
season 1 through 7 were all produced under Machinima, and then season 8 I produced on my own.
No, I think Kaya means the one that they made themselves without your involvement.
Right, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so that was called RB and the Chief in LA, and it was produced between season 3 and season 4. So it's not a numbered season.
I do remember that.
It's just called in LA.
I remember that.
It's a standalone season, yeah. So it might
Is that
be
on your channel?
It may be on YouTube somewhere, uploaded by some fan or something. Like, I don't think it's... Yeah.
But not you.
I'm sure it's
been
on there.
uploaded by other channels. Yeah, I just found it.
You should put it on your channel with like a little director's commentary from you, just making fun of it the entire time.
That is a good idea.
But other than that, my channel on YouTube is John Graham, and I'm JCJ Graham, all lowercase, on Twitter. And if you want to follow me, subscribe, whatever. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone go check him out. It's RB and the Chief is a great series, very fun, and it's internet history too.
It is.
So go check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for having me on. I'm really happy to be here. This is cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Awesome to chat and go down memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of nostalgia this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching this episode of the Official Podcast. It's been a pleasure putting this on for you guys. Patreon.com/The Official Podcast for bonus episodes, bonus shows, and a lot of bonus stuff over there. So you can go check that out whenever you feel like it. Please rate us on iTunes, Spotify. If you enjoyed the show, don't rate it if you didn't. I swear to God, no 0 stars. Let's keep it up to our standards. The 5-star rating only.
5 stars, people.
Yeah, we've actually got a really good rating on Spotify. I just noticed we're at like a 4.9.
I did notice that.
Really
that's great.
Why not a 5?
You guys are killing it.
I think it's because I haven't been making this call to action at the end of each episode, saying like only do 5-star ratings, so people are getting a bit funny with that. So now we should be 5-star only, which is good. Now that I've said it.
If you don't rate 5, I don't want you listening to the show. I'll just say it. 5 only.
We're a 5-star podcast, goddammit. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Same time. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.